We're live.
Yo, welcome to the second episode of the Legends Clubhouse. I am Bobby Kaboose, as always, with my boy Lawson Turner. What's up,
Mm. What's
my
going on?
buddy Lawson?
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on,
Monday
everybody?
Night Lawson.
Huh?
Let's go. Huh?
What'd you say?
I said Monday Night
Oh,
Lawson,
Monday night. That's the first.
right?
That's the first. Yeah.
Yeah, come on, man. I
Yeah.
have stuff
That's
in my eye, like it got in there like right before we went live, so like I'm gonna be blinking and shit.
love
You
that.
call me One Eye Willie or some, Goonies reference. Ugh. It's gonna be all red by the end of the show because I'm fucking rubbing it the
You'll be
entire time.
alright. You'll be
Ugh.
alright.
But guess what, man?
What up?
The two predictions yesterday. Who won?
The Caboose man is up 2-0 on the all-time predictions for the Legends Clubhouse. So I was
You
um I was extremely in. You brought that up, so let's jump into it. The Orlando Magic destroyed the Atlanta Hawks, 120-95. Cole Anthony with a sensational game off the bench, 26 points in 20 minutes. I said Paulo
Hey,
would be.
by
What's up?
easy math, that's a point a minute.
That
A
is
little
over.
more than a
That
point.
is over a point a minute.
I'm
You're
just
right.
saying.
Hey,
I'm just saying.
hey, they dominated the Atlanta Hawks in ways that I didn't. I had That's what I want to use. I had slight reservations that the Hawks could keep up with Orlando, but Orlando just one team couldn't miss and the other team couldn't hit on the other end. And as Trae Young would end up getting ejected late in the fourth quarter, but the game was already out of hand anyways.
You know what
Uh,
I knew the Hawks were gonna lose?
Go ahead.
When they traded Luca for Trae Young. I knew they were gonna lose that game last night.
Yep,
It all
yep.
came down to that, man.
It's so hilarious that you brought that up because that's looked back on as one of the most even trades, but now in retrospect, the Hawks won the trade because Luka's no longer a Dallas Maverick.
Yeah.
Um, Now we could dive into the later game. Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry. I thought Jimmy would be a lot more hobbled. However, he led the way with 38 points. Steph had 37 points as they combined for 65. That's easy math, and they
Dude,
beat the what's up?
how many points did I say that Steph Curry was gonna have yesterday? I think I said 36.
You might have said 37.
I thought I said 36.
We'll have to check the tapes, but yeah,
Did he have 3 assists?
he had 4 assists. God, we're so
Dude,
good.
who knows basketball more than the Boost?
On God, who knows basketball more than the
They
Boost?
call
No,
me
but it was
B-ball Boost.
B-ball Boost. That's awesome.
Dude,
Um, Jimmy ended with
killing it.
30.
Killing it.
Jimmy ended with 38 points,
I would never guess that.
seven rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, and however, he shot 18 free throws and made 12 of
Yeah,
them, which that's not crazy, but for a
66%.
yes, but for a player of Jimmy Butler's caliber, he's better than that. As they cruise, well, not cruise, it was in the bounce late, and then Steph went crazy, scored 15 points in the 11 minutes he played in the fourth quarter. They win 121 to 116 and get the luxury of playing the Houston Rockets in the first round. And we can get into the series and all that stuff at a later episode before those playoff series start this weekend. Now, something I wanted to dive into and we didn't touch upon it yesterday. Colorado is retiring Shadur Sanders and Travis Hunter's numbers, which
No.
don't have a problem with to an extent. I think that I have no issue with the Travis Hunter thing. The Shadur Sanders thing, um, normally you retire numbers of your pantheon legends of your university, and yes, Coach Prime and Travis, they're big reasons why Colorado became the good program that they were over the past 2 seasons because they won before Coach Prime. They were 1-11 and lost and all their losses were around 33 points per loss, which that's not close. It's not close at all.
No.
Um, I don't know how you feel, but the Shadur thing, it's tough because he is one of the focal points as to why this program really got turned around, and he will be a first round pick in this upcoming draft. However, is
It's
it?
the coach's son, dude. It's weird.
Yeah, it's
It's
really
weird.
it to me it's really weird as a as it pertains to like the draft and could this turn NFL teams away? Not that it has any relation to him getting drafted, but it could be, oh, does this feed more into Shadur's head to where could he think he's larger than our team or organization? I don't know how you feel about Colorado retiring their numbers.
Um, I I agree with you with Travis Hunter. I mean, two-way player, dude. Like he's probably the best to do it since Charles Woodson.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the '90s. But with Shadur's, it's weird because like yeah, him and Cam Ward were the standout quarterbacks in this class,
Mm-hmm.
but he's not Peyton Manning. He's not Andrew Luck. He's not like a generational type quarterback.
Right.
And again, it's the coach's son. Like it's just weird to me. Like the coach's son always gets the privilege. As far as little league and shit like that. But
Mm-hmm.
but as far as his is Coach Prime, is he staying in Colorado or is he looking?
He's
Is there still opportunities for him in the NFL, or is everyone is all the jobs? I'm sure the jobs are taken now.
yeah.
It's hard to miss draft time.
I know he signed a long-term extension. Let me look up and see what the numbers were in.
Okay, so he
He
won't be
signed
going to the NFL anytime
right.
soon.
He signed a 5-year, $54 million
Okay,
contract extension with the University of Colorado, running through the 2029 season.
dude, guys like him and Belichick at North Carolina, these programs are going to be ran completely different than college football is used to, man. These kids are going to look at Prime and Belichick and be like, "This is my ticket to the NFL."
It's
Those,
it's really interesting due to like you would be playing for and being coached by the best cornerback ever and one of, if not the best NFL coaches of all time. So
right?
if you want a solid path where, hey, I can go to this program, I can learn from some of these all-time greats, it is the spot to be. Now with the NIL thing, that that's something completely different. But if you're just looking for pure experience and to learn, oh,
Yeah,
it's and especially like, for example, if you're a defensive lineman, Deion Sanders brought in Warren Sapp to coach the defensive line. That's another
yeah,
all-time great defensive lineman. If you want to get better as a pro and to really learn from, like I said, some of the all-time greats. And it's funny you brought up Bill Belichick, 'cause I don't know if you saw, but Bill Belichick's girlfriend.
yeah. She's help recruiting. She's on the staff, isn't she?
Did you see that she got promoted to? Before let me think or see.
Belichick's
I
just
saw
pimping her out to
yesterday.
his players, man. He's
I
just pimping her out. He's like, "Hey,
pimping
look,
her out is
we need
crazy.
we we need a new running back. You go to his house and convince him
Here it is. She took over the active role of
of head of recruiting."
COO, COO of the program.
Man, yeah, dude. Just imagine being, a
That's what I
high
saw
school
yesterday.
senior,
But
and you have Belichick's girlfriend come visit you and take you out to Chick-fil-A, and flirt with you a little bit, and then you're like, okay, well, I guess I'll go to North Carolina.
that's insane.
You know,
Hey,
she's 5 years older than the recruits that he's trying to get.
you know what? Hold on. Let's look at the age gap between
I
her
think
and
it's
Bill.
50 years. I think it's 49 or 50 years.
She is 24. How old is
Yeah,
Bill? Hold on.
I think he's 73.
How old is Bill?
I think he's 73.
He is 73.
You
God
know,
damn.
so look at that. You
Hey,
know, she's
listen.
like, unfortunately, I'm not going to be going to school with you because I just graduated, but
That's
we can hang
insane.
out at the park sometime.
That's insane. The whole when all this stuff first started to come out, I was like, okay, Bill, because he went through his divorce and all that jazz, and I'm like, oh, hey man, I
Dude, watch. You're gonna see all these coaches, man. Whether it's him or what's his name from who's who's the old dude on the College Game Day? Lee Corso.
Yeah.
Right, you get
Oh
Lee
my
Corso back
God.
in the mix to coach someone. The next day he's got like a 24-year-old girlfriend. You keep having these old dudes have these young ass girlfriends to recruit, so you have the
If
best
they're on the
team,
recruiting staff, that's
dude.
OT.
And then you can write them off on the taxes and everything. Like you're like, yeah, I
Hey.
employed my girlfriend.
Oh,
And just, if you want to have, if you want to expand your region of recruiting, like you don't want to just recruit in the Midwest or South or West or whatever, you have multiple girlfriends. You live in Utah. You have all your little roster, your starting five to go into every corner of the United States to recruit, and you're gonna have the best program in college.
what was that one ludicrous song? Got
Move, bitch.
different hoes and different
Oh
area
yeah, area
codes.
codes. Yeah, dude. I got different hoes recruiting in different area codes.
Hey, with how big the SoCal locations are, Bill can't be everywhere, man.
Oh man, dude,
Just
that's insane, dude.
it's,
That's what a perfect strategy.
I mean, it makes
uh,
sense to me.
me too. Me
No,
too. You
that's
got
it's
where's Brian Kelly at?
Brian.
He's is he at LSU?
I think I think
Is he the
he's
one that started talking with an accent when he
yeah
got down? Yeah,
yeah,
so Brian Kelly gets his little squad of girls, like they
and
all
he
just
sends him to like Michigan
yeah, dude.
and
And the thing is too is like all these coaches no longer like are involved with the recruiting at all. They just send their girlfriends to these
that's so
places and they
funny.
just sit back and relax. It's like COVID all over again. They don't have to travel. They can
It's
just
like
zoom.
COVID all over again, but with
Yeah,
different.
they can
Hey,
just zoom and they'll be like, all right, just zoom me in when you're at Chick-fil-A with our receiver, and his girl zooms him
they're
in
in the
when they're
drive-through.
their spicy chicken sandwich, and she's like, here, baby, here's
Here's our
Sean
recruit.
Jackson, our new receiver. He's gonna be awesome, and he's like, yeah, man, thanks for bringing your girlfriend out. Thanks for getting me some food, and I can't wait to play for you in the fall.
That's hilarious. That'd be so
Dude,
funny.
I mean, it's a great strategy.
I mean, it makes sense to me. And you can, and like you said, you can write it all off.
Right. And then like the girls can take, the players' moms to go get pedicures or something,
Hey,
try to
you might be onto
influence the
something.
mom,
You might be
you
onto
know?
something.
I'm just saying.
Hey, I mean,
Just saying.
like I said, it makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
Now
I
I
mean,
know you're.
now you
Go
don't have
ahead.
to you don't have to hide the duffel bag full of money to give them, You're like, here's your NIL.
Here,
Here's your good-looking girl to hang out with for lunch.
for a good
And
30 minutes.
yeah.
Take a couple
Put it,
Instagram worthy pictures.
put it on your social media,
Oh my
gain some
god.
followers, and go. Um,
That's so funny.
but no, man. Like I said, these, in all seriousness, the Bill Belichick and Prime, the coaching strategy as
Mm,
far as being a pipeline to the NFL is going to change the game.
I think
Like,
so too.
I think you're going to get more former players being coaches or
Mm,
at least on the staff and being able to influence, especially like, the high profile players like, I doubt Brady would ever get involved because of just being involved with the Raiders already.
yeah.
But, you used to have like the Bradys and the Michael Jordans of sports, and, they would kind of disappear after they're done, because
Mm,
they don't need to be in the spotlight anymore. But now with this strategy, schools may be going to look out for guys like that and being like, okay, if you're on our staff, you obviously have connections. Like they always say, it's better who you know than what you know. So, and
right.
that could, apply for sports too. Look at Bronny. I mean,
I mean, you see,
he has no reason to be in the NBA, and he's there, and he was drafted.
We can get into Bronny at a later date. I'm a giant LeBron fan. I mean, it's great that you brought up your former players potentially being coaches because like just look at Brian Hartline at Ohio State. He's the wide receiver
Yeah,
coach, and he's the wide receiver coach, and that is wide receiver university.
yeah,
They're just
100%.
they're turning them out now. I know you're a big wrestling head, and
Yes.
I'm sure people can see on the scroll text right there. Let's get into some WrestleMania stuff.
WrestleMania.
It's it's the
Dude,
biggest event of the year.
41. 41. Dude, and the card is fucking stacked, bro.
Both
Like,
nights are stacked.
yeah, both nights are stacked. This might be even the most stacked roster, like close to all time. Like this is
Yeah.
right up there with what I grew up on with the Attitude Era.
Mm.
Uh, but the talent from top to bottom, the show should be amazing. There's so many things that could or should happen.
Mm.
Um, but I'm excited for both nights, man. I don't know about you. Um,
Uh-huh.
we can deep dive into each one of these matches as well.
Yeah, because I started watching wrestling in like the early 2000s when I started growing up, and it was the tail end of your Attitude era turning into your PG era, and I caught a little bit of the tail end, and since then I feel like every young boy when they start watching wrestling, they get to a certain age that
No
they
longer
find
cool.
the real sports per se, or how it used to like. I used to think wrestling was back in the day in school, in elementary school, they had like your dare courses for drugs and stuff
Yeah.
like that. How they used to say marijuana was or weed was your gateway drug.
Gateway?
Yeah, I felt like wrestling was your gateway to actual sports. However, it makes me it really makes me think that how because once again I've been tapped out of wrestling for a minute. But over the past couple of years, like I'll tune in to a
Yeah,
PLE. Isn't that what they call pay-per-views now? Premium
they
live
do.
events.
Yep.
I would tap in every now and again, and I've been super tuned in. With John Cena being the head person going into the head man, head babyface for the past 25 years. I'm like, oh, I remember watching John Cena growing up, and when I saw it was his
Right.
last year, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be cinema. And when they turned him heel, I told you, I was like, I thought that they would turn him heel after he loses at WrestleMania, and it'd be just a crash out.
Okay, since we are talking about Cena right now, because I was going to mention this later when we actually talk about his match, but I'm glad you brought up the heel turn. The heel turn was great,
Mm.
um, absolutely great. The promos after,
Oh my
I'm not digging.
god.
I'm not digging because the um the angle that he's taking is like he's blaming the fans and all
Yeah.
this. I'm doing it for my whatever. I wish he would have taken the angle of, you know what? I want the 17th title. I want it.
Oh,
I'm being selfish.
to finally
Like,
show the greed and have
yes,
all that stuff coming out,
yes.
like
Like, I
because
sold my soul so I can go down in wrestling history, and all this shit. And I think it would have just gave it more juice instead of being
mm,
like, look at that fat kid over there. You're wearing my stuff, but I don't like you because
right,
at one point you booed me.
yeah.
And like, I'm like, okay, dude, like, wrestling is acting, but it's like Cena, since he's been in Hollywood, it's like, it just doesn't seem like,
Authentic per se.
yes, thank
Yeah,
you.
I thought not that his promos to me, I thought they were so good. If you're going to turn the super babyface heel, just have him, finally do and peel it. Once again, I thought that he would go to like a singlet and remix his music, but the fact that he did nothing, I thought it was just. I thought that everything that they could have done, they have done to a T the best that they could.
Yeah.
I thought
No,
the promos were
I
awesome too.
agree. And even the delivery on his promos is good. I just don't like what he's talking about. I don't like that's the reason. I
Mm.
wish he would have been like, you know what, you had the opportunity to sell your soul to The Rock. I did to, become the seventh. Like that should be the whole focus of like, hey, I want this record. I don't care. I need to do what it needs to be done to get it. Like,
Mm,
I have one more opportunity.
this is
Eminem,
it.
I'm from Detroit. One shot, one opportunity.
Right.
You know, to seize everything you ever wanted,
And
or
and
whatever,
and
however it goes. But
right.
he could have played that role as far as like, you know what? Yeah, I'm a greedy motherfucker. Like I'm getting this belt,
I'm
and
gonna
I'm
get mine and I'm
going
gonna
to
split.
pass Ric Flair. Woo! So
I'm gonna get mine and I'm gonna split. Basically.
100%.
Yeah.
So we actually brought up we pulled up Bleacher Report. They have an article. It's a great article about the prediction order for each night. So that's
Mm,
what we're going to base off ours as far as the order of the matches that we're
mm,
going to go through. They have on Saturday night the opening match. They have actually Jey Uso against Gunther for the World Heavyweight title. Obviously, Jey Uso winning the Royal Rumble to, pretty much a surprise to everyone. I actually, for a former employer, I actually wrote an article about five guys that should win the Royal Rumble, and Jey Uso was number one on my list,
mm,
because it was less predictable than, having CM Punk, having Roman Reigns, having a top guy win it. The Royal Rumble match, real quick before we get into this match, the
mm.
Royal Rumble match to me, like it was always presented as the luck of the draw. Like you get number 30, you have a better chance. It shouldn't be a skill match. Like
Yeah.
it became way too predictable in the last couple of years, and I love how they had Jey Uso win. I know the internet wrestling community is indifferent about it because they don't know if Jay can, run with it, or, if he's not a big enough star. Dude, he's the most over guy in the
He's
WWE right
so
now. Like,
over,
look at his
bro.
entrance. His promos have gotten better. His promos, like you can tell it's just from the heart. Like he doesn't act like he's like rehearsing or just going over lines.
Mm.
And he's obviously good in the ring. What do you think about him and Gunther?
I think I think that this match would be a great opener. I think that I remember when the Usos came out and they were one half was painted one way, one half was painted the other way, and the how yeah that they were doing the
Chance.
Samoan stuff. Yeah, I his development has been excellent. I think that they've
Yes.
how they've spun his character from the bloodline stuff to this has been chef's kiss. Mwah.
Yeah.
The promos between both of them have been awesome. When they had Jimmy come back and then get beat up, I
Yeah.
thought it was awesome. I think this match, it's really tough to lean one way or the other. Because are they really gonna build all this up? Just it obviously won't be a squash match,
Right.
but
No, it's gonna be physical as hell, dude. They're gonna be like
they're gonna beat the shit out of each other.
Jay's gonna tell Gunther to beat the shit out of him.
Yeah,
That's
and
gonna
that's what's
happen.
gonna and that's probably what's gonna happen. My guess is they yank the curtain, they yank the towel under us one more time, and then Jay wins it at Backlash. That'd be my
That's exact.
guess.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. I actually wrote an article yesterday of saying the same thing. I said not all like WrestleMania moments need to happen at WrestleMania.
Exactly.
Um, you have to put some stock into other PLEs. I said Gunther wins at Mania. I think it's going to be a huge, like, very physical match. There's going to be a bunch of false finishes where you think Jay's going to win.
Mm,
And I think Jay's end up going to losing. He's going to lose, and I think Gunther is going to put him to sleep. He's not. He's not going to pin him. He's going to
yeah.
make him pass out, and he's not. Jay's technically not going to give up, but the ref's going to call it when his
Mm,
arm, just he can't compete.
mm,
Or I could see Jimmy kind of like throwing in a towel,
yeah.
for him. But I think Gunther retains. It would just be weird to me if Gunther lost 2 years in a row, dropping a title. I
Yeah,
was just
that would just be
to,
really weird. because he's
Yeah.
been, the ring general, the almost unstoppable force.
I mean, he mentioned in his promo on Raw this past Monday that he's been a champion 80% of the time that he's been on the main roster, which is unheard of. And with this, he dropped the Intercontinental title last year against Sami Zayn.
Mm.
If he drops it again, I know I was just listening to it's Bruce Pritchard's podcast, but JBL has been filling in for him the last couple months. They were doing their WrestleMania prediction show. I was listening to it yesterday, and JBL. They were going through JBL's record at WrestleMania. It's like 3-8.
Yeah.
So your WrestleMania record doesn't necessarily matter, but it's weird to have a guy so dominant that's been a champion 80% of his main roster career and have a losing record at WrestleMania. So are you going to, unless you play off that the guy can't win at the big stage, which I don't think they would do that to Gunther.
Yeah,
But
and if they did, it would be something like months later, where
right.
where in like 2 or 3 feuds from now, he's feuding with somebody, and then they bring up, oh well, you lost back-to-back WrestleManias, you
Yeah.
keep losing on at these, these premium events, and
Yeah.
you're
And
dominating your weekly stuff, but then when it comes to, your big stages, you come up short.
right. And with Jay, they, like I said, they can't, I don't think they'll have him win at Mania, but they have to have him win at Backlash. If he doesn't win this title within the next month and a half, you kind of killed.
It's almost for nothing.
Yes, because what are you going to do? Go have him go back to the Intercontinental title? Like, just be in limbo? Like, he's hot right now. As JBL said, sometimes you just got to throw grease on the fire.
Yeah.
So but we both are in agreements. I don't know the word.
Agreements.
Yeah, sure. We're agreeing that Gunther's gonna win.
Right.
The next match that they have on Bleacher Report, as far as what they think is gonna be in the order of, is the Raw Tag Team Championship with the War Raiders and the New Day. New Day, first time being heel. I love what they're doing as far as blaming Big E for everything.
It's awesome.
And
It's so
literally
funny.
going on their social media and trying to erase him from the New Day history, which is hilarious.
Half the promos and storytelling is done off, outside of the ring, like on social media.
Yep.
I love how not just for this match in general, but how wrestlers now are starting to use social media as a way to like
Mhm.
build their pre-feuds and promos.
Yeah. Yep. And they're you know arguing back and forth on Twitter, or taking jabs at each other on Instagram. I love it too. It's awesome. With the War Raiders.
A little bit of a tongue twister right
Yeah,
there.
a little bit. Dude, it's early.
I
I'm
get it.
I'm not even awake yet. But the War Raiders, it doesn't matter if you're calling them the War Raiders, the War Vikings, the Viking Raiders, whatever the fuck their name is this week. I think this is the best version of them,
Mm.
but dude, I don't feel like anyone cares about these guys. Like, they're very athletic in the ring, but they don't have any charisma. I like the biker thing more than the Viking thing, but it's just, they're not over, man. I don't see them winning at all. Like, I don't see how they win unless Big E gets involved. And
Mm.
I even put this, I've been writing articles every day about my predictions and stuff about WrestleMania, so check it out on New Leaf News. But with the War Raiders, or no, I was gonna say, I said, wouldn't it be cool if Big E came back and actually helped the New Day and was like, you know what, you guys, you're right. Like, I'm sorry I dropped the ball, and like then just rejoined them.
That'd be so funny.
But I wouldn't be surprised if Big E did get involved. I think that's the only way that the War Raiders come out victorious.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, they got to do something, dude. The War Raiders need. I think they need to go with Karrion Kross.
Mm.
I think that would be a cool group. They would be better as heels, as just badasses and badass bikers, or they just need a mouthpiece. Like, there's something not connecting with me and them, and I think it's just not me. But
Yeah, I feel like having them in, in the two hole per se for baseball. Having them in the second slot for the opening night of Mania, you don't obviously want to be first unless you're a marquee match. And then if you're going in as the two hole, then it's kind of that's the time where a third of the audience will go up and they'll go piss or they'll go
Yeah.
get their food. So
Yep.
I'm right there, which is like this match is kind of it's a hit or miss thing for me because nothing's like connected. The New Day stuff's cool and funny, but this is just kind of a
Well,
wishy-washy thing for me.
yeah, the heel turn was great, and then like what I loved about the New Day heel turn is not only did the audience like boo them out of the crowd, they gave them the Dominic Mysterio treatment, but backstage I loved how they would be walking or a wrestler would walk past them and they'd be like, I can't believe you did that,
They would just
like we're not talking
shun
to you.
them. Yeah.
But yeah, like it was awesome.
Mm.
By the way, before we move on, I see this little time in the corner for the Zoom. Are we gonna disconnect in like 8 minutes?
We're going to take a 30-second break and then jump right back into it
All right,
in about
cool.
five
So
minutes. So,
all right, cool.
yeah.
So at least I know what's going on now. The next match that they
Right.
have is with Jade Cargill versus Naomi.
Mm.
Um, I think this match in the ring, I don't think this match is going to be very impressive.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
just. It,
unless they have Jade as the big show, I guess. Like if she's hip tossing her and using her strength and shit like that. Like I don't know if their styles are gonna mix, but I do love the backstory because
the backstory is great.
there's gonna be a lot of fluff I think in this match.
Mm.
As far as Bianca's got to get involved. Um, I'm calling it right now. Bianca's turning heel. She is going to cost Jade this match. She's going to rejoin Naomi. And this match actually, I think, has implications of night two because I think Jade comes back and attacks Bianca, takes her out of the triple threat mix because there, as we all know, there is no disqualification in a triple threat match.
Right.
So she completely eliminate Bianca from the Rhea Io match. But I think Naomi actually wins because Bianca gets involved.
I'm right there with you on every step of the way. Styles make fights not just in you in MMA but in wrestling too, and I'm right there with you. Like I don't see their styles matching. I do think, like you said, the backstory has been excellent, and I think that you bring up a lot of good points as to the predicting of Bianca turning heel, and I could echo everything that you just said.
Yeah, because like I mean, she's even kind of been hinting at it because she's been dressing in black. Like I know, dressed in black, you got to be a heel. But she's her attitude as far as these promos with the Rhea Io match,
Mm-hmm.
it is a way that Rhea was getting screwed by Bianca. And not to get into that match, but quite yet. But with this one, the way that they did the Jade attack, the only thing I would have changed in this whole storyline is, and this is makes me want to think that Bianca is turning heel as well.
Mm-hmm.
Naomi could have attacked Bianca backstage as well, and they could have been like, "Who's doing all this?" Because they were tag team champions, Naomi could have had both belts and picked her own partner.
Mm-hmm.
And like she could have been the first, probably ever tag team champion that actually didn't win the titles to have both the titles. If
That
that makes sense.
that's a crazy angle.
Yes.
It's a crazy. Now we will be taking a 30-second break, and I don't have any goofy screen to sit at, so we're just going to fade to black for 20 seconds, and we will
Okay. At least I'm
and
not just gonna sit here with being like,
yeah, just with your dick in your hand per se.
yeah, with that worm out.
Get the worm
I'm
out.
talking. I'm talking to all my producers back, behind the camera.
Hey man.
You know.
Alrighty, well we will see you guys in 30 seconds.
I have a different Zoom than you?
Nope, we're back. And we're
We're back?
live. We are
All right,
back
cool.
after some tech difficulties. Hey, Rome wasn't done in a
Hey,
day and we're still, tinkering with stuff.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not like we had test trials. Um, so
I mean, probably would have been better, but we're just two goobers that love to talk, man.
we're two Oonga Boongas that don't know how to do shit and we're dumb as fuck. Um,
But hey, we're
anyway, um, you know what's not dumb as fuck is this next match with Rey Mysterio versus
right.
El Grande El Americano. Dude, this shit. Have you been watching this stuff?
It's
With
so funny.
Dude, this shit is hilarious, and the fact that people online are getting so upset about it is hilarious to me because they think it's disrespectful to the luchadors. I'm like, dude, he's a heel. Like,
He's supposed to be a dick.
I hope to God that it is not Chad Gable underneath the mask at WrestleMania. Like,
You know how
I'm
funny
hoping
that would
that
be?
I'm hoping that I'm not sure if you were able to check out the WrestleMania 9 documentary that just came out on Peacock last weekend.
No, but I'll have to check it out.
So they have like the behind the scenes thing and stuff, and there's like this infamous moment where Doink the Clown is versus Crush, and a second Doink appears, and they do the mirror thing, and they're looking
Mm.
at each other, dude. El Grande Americano has to do that. There's got to be two of them, and they fuck with Ray somehow.
It'd be like
Um,
Sin Cara Azul and the
yes,
second Sin
but
Cara.
yes, exactly. But I think this one's very easy to predict. I think Rey Mysterio gets the win,
Yeah,
and
it's
he or he loses. There's something going to be funky at the end because there could be a disqualification or something. But at the end, I think Chad Gable gets revealed as he gets the mask ripped off. But
yeah.
that's pretty much the only
I,
important thing in this match.
you literally could just copy and paste exactly what you said. I think this has the chance to be hilarious. Like
Mm-hmm.
you said, if a second El Grande Americano shows up, it'd be like, whoa,
Yeah.
that could be your WrestleMania Night 1 moment.
Right. And
Yeah.
you know, if it is Chad Gable that is fighting this, like he's phenomenal in the ring.
Yeah.
Um I think they need to push the Creed brothers a little bit more. Because they could be like the modern day Team Angle.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all legit wrestlers.
Mm.
Build them up as badasses. Give Gable a belt, like give Gable the Intercontinental belt or something. Give them the tag team titles or something. Like do something with these guys because
Mm.
the heel American gimmick always works.
It
It always works.
right. Look at JBL.
Yeah, look at JBL.
Yeah.
Um, the next match will, as far as according to Bleacher Report, would be the women's championship match with Tiffany Stratton, Tiffy Time,
Tiffy time.
against Charlotte Flair, who I'm a little sick of, but
Right.
uh what are your takes on this match? Have you seen
The promo a couple weeks ago
that
when
everyone's talking about?
Tiffy crossed the line. When I saw that, I was like, "Oh fuck!" And
Yeah.
I feel like Charlotte handled it terribly because she wanted to get the last word in.
Yep.
And I'm like, "You let her get under your fucking skin."
Yeah. Charlotte was letting the crowd get under her skin too. Like it just seemed like she was uncomfortable with that whole promo.
And it's
Um,
interesting because you know who you're like. This should be nothing new to you.
yeah.
You
And I wonder if Tiffy went off script because she was either nervous or forgot her lines or
right
whatever. Or if there is some kind of personal you
beef.
know beef there. But man, I'm just so sick of Charlotte Flair, man. Like I get she's good in the ring. I'm tired of her promos. I'm just they she's what, a 13 or 14 time champion.
Whatever it is.
Like I think they tried to do that so quickly to get up to her dad's number that it just like I'm just over it.
It's like you're copy and pasting the same thing over and over and over.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And I think that I think Tiffy wins. I
Yeah.
hope this is more of a like I'm the legend. I'm kind of passing you the torch a little bit.
Yeah.
You
I
know, here's your chance to get over
mhm.
and beat a bona fide superstar and legend. So I'm
I
hoping
I hope it's more of a push for Tiffy than like a knockdown for Charlotte.
right,
Yeah.
same. Because Charlotte doesn't need the win to still
No.
be at the top of the card.
One of the
Tiffy,
women's goats, you know.
yeah, if Tiffy loses, then you kind of just pushed her down. Like,
Yeah, like you built her up, and even with like I know it's something to measure, just the pure pop
yeah,
whenever entrances start. Like Tiffy time,
yeah,
pop,
yeah,
crowd goes
yeah.
nuts, you know.
Everyone, people love Tiffy time.
Oh,
Um,
it's when my dad was in town for the Elimination Chamber, and he didn't watch it live, so he watched it like a couple days later. We were in the living room rewatching it, and right when she came out, I was like Tiffy time, and it was just we all just started busting out laughing because she's over.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, 100%. She's over, man. Like you said, the crowd pop is probably it's probably in the top, at least the top five. I was gonna say top three of the entire
yeah,
company when her
yeah,
music hits.
yeah.
But
This
yeah,
next one though could be interesting.
yeah, the next match is definitely interesting. It's probably my two favorite superstars like currently, like in
Yeah.
this current moment, with LA Knight and Jacob Fatu
Hmm.
for the United States title. Um, I think and this is gonna sound weird, but whoever loses this match, I
Hmm.
think is getting elevated in the card. I think they're gonna be elevated into the main event picture. Both of them should be in the main event within a couple of years anyway.
Hmm.
LA Knight, I think, should have already been there. Um, I would say that Jacob Fatu is probably going to win this match because he has seemed unstoppable lately. Plus, the fact that Solo and Tama Katanga will probably be in his corner unless he tells them to stay back. Um, and the only way that I see LA Knight winning this match is if they break up Solo and Jacob Fatu, and Solo costs him the match.
Yeah,
Actually, you know,
I would see TikToks of LA Knight when he started to get a little pop, and I'd send them to my boy. And once again, we're former wrestling fans that are kind of come back around,
yeah,
and we would like whenever we'd be just hanging out or whatever, we'd see like an ad or a TikTok. He's like, "Yo, it's the Yeah guy,"
yep,
because it's yeah.
yeah.
The Jacob Fatu, I was one of my really good friends, Jacob Sherman. He has his own wrestling he has his own wrestling promotion called Total Wrestling Federation out of North California. He said Jacob Fatu had his first professional wrestling match at his thing, and this was when it got leaked that he signed with WWE, and he was telling us, he's like, guys, I've seen that big Samoan move. There's no physical way a man that shot size should move the way he does.
The
He's a freak.
so I also compared this to The Rock and Stone Cold when they were battling for the Intercontinental title.
Yeah.
I hope that this is a feud for the future
Hmm.
for the heavyweight title or for the world, the WWE title or the world heavyweight title. These two guys should be main eventing, something.
They're both over too.
And I am going to go as far as saying that one of these guys is going to win the Royal Rumble next year,
I could see that. J-
or the Money in the Bank,
the
or the Money in the Bank.
the
One of
thing
them.
the thing too is that Jacob is so young. So he's got a lot of he's got well young in the WWE.
Yeah,
He there's so much time for him to still, go through your really good matches, go through your really good feuds and stuff. And I think that this is by far the best thing that they've done with him since he's gotten in the WWE.
Yeah. And with LA Knight being older,
Mm-hmm.
he's 42, you kind of you don't want to like obviously over with the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
He's been over for years. And I think they need to elevate him into that main event picture and that heavyweight title picture because
If not
you know,
now, then when?
exactly. But yeah, I think these two guys, I could see either one of them main eventing a WrestleMania next year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then the main event for Saturday night goes with the triple threat match: CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and
Yes.
your tribal chief.
Everyone's
Um,
tribal chief.
yep. The OTC Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Um, this dude and Heyman's gonna be in Punk's corner, but is he gonna stay there? It seems like it's gonna be the battle for Heyman.
Yeah.
Um, this is now that he, I guess, owes Seth a favor because he didn't curb stomp his brains in.
Right.
Uh, I don't know. I didn't realize that's how you got favors from people. Maybe I've been doing it
Mm.
wrong my
I
entire.
guess. Let's just go around
Uh,
start curb stomping and not curb stomping people.
right. Um, but I wonder if it kind of makes me think if I know what they wanted to give CM Punk his WrestleMania main event, but if Ambrose was still or Moxley was still in
Jesus
the WWE,
Christ, that'd be
I wonder if it would have
crazy.
been the triple threat of the Shield
I
because
always thought they would do
Punk
that
brought the Shield in.
eventually. Yeah.
So, it kind of crossed my mind the other day. But who do what do you think the outcome of this match is, and what do you think's going
I
to be going on with this?
I want my boy Punk to win more than anything. He was one of my favorites when I was watching wrestling. He from the mic to yeah, he's not the biggest, yeah, he's not the strongest. He just has it. And all three of these guys have it. You know,
Yeah,
all three of them, they're over with the crowd, they're over with, backstage, other wrestlers and all that jazz. The X factor for me, Paul's going to get involved somehow,
yeah,
some way. Something's going to happen with Paul, and that to me is the biggest question mark cuz Paul's in Punk's corner. What's Rollins'
right.
favor per se?
Yeah, I mean I was going to like before the last couple weeks, I was like, man, why it's just weird to have like what's Seth's dynamic in this match, right?
That was my whole
I
thing
know
too,
he's got
yeah.
beef with both and all that, but why is it a triple threat? And why is the exclamation on Paul Heyman? I was saying before the last couple of weeks that I thought Paul Heyman was going to leave with Seth. I was like, wouldn't
Mhm.
that be something? But now they're teasing it. So now I don't know if he's going to be leaving with Seth because it's almost so obvious that he's going to leave with Seth
Or
that I don't think he's
something.
going to leave with Seth. But I do think that like this one is probably the hardest match to call
Mhm.
between the two nights because I could see any of them winning. Um, I don't think Roman Reigns takes the fall.
Of course
Um,
not. Oh Jesus.
so it's probably between Seth and Punk getting pinned, or I don't see them getting submitted either. But
It's
I
tough.
guess I'll go. I guess I'll go with Seth Rollins.
Yeah. It's just when they first teased that this would be the main event, it was such a joy because I'm like, my boy got his moment, because growing up when he was hotter than fish grease, they
Yeah,
kept passing it on and passing it
yeah,
on and giving it to others, and I think that with this being his moment, I think that this the crowd, the energy, the excitement, I just think once again if Paul leaves with Rollins, that would be crazy.
yeah. Yeah, I agree. And it was funny because on Raw this past week, like Punk came and ran out to save Heyman.
Yeah.
And when Punk was running out there, I'm like, man, this is the first time I'm like, Punk looks old. I'm like, Punk looks like an old man running.
Yeah.
I'm like, he looks like an old man running onto his lawn to chase away the kids that are playing tag on there. Like I'm like, just the way he
Right.
was running, I was like,
Yeah.
man, you look a little aged right now.
You look a little up there, yeah. That was another thing too. Like when Punk came back, it's like obviously he can't do the same stuff. And then what was it, the Rumble that he tore his you got hurt at?
Yeah,
It's like he comes back. I thought he was gonna win the Rumble, then he gets hurt, so that obviously puts whatever they had planned back.
right.
But it's like I don't see. I see scenario. I'm right there with you when you brought up like what does Rollins do? What is Rollins doing what's his business? What's his
Right.
angle?
Because why is it a triple threat?
It makes no sense.
Why isn't it Rollins versus Punk or Rollins versus Roman?
Oh yeah,
And like what is the angle on the why is Roman and Punk fighting each other? Because
exactly.
they just teamed up at War Games
Yeah,
in November. I know it's been 6 months, but like what
it makes.
there's got to be a reason.
I think
I
we'll
guess
find out the reason.
but
On the first night.
unless what if because did CM Punk is CM Punk's did they ever announce that the favor was from to a main event WrestleMania?
That's what I
Like,
thought it was, and then when he said Paul, that's not the favor, and then walked off,
right,
I'm like, well, then what could it be then?
right, because like what are they gonna do, just beat the shit out of Seth Rollins? Like they could just team up and just beat the shit out of him for 20 minutes and then like you know
Right.
that's I don't know. I'm kind of confused on why or what's gonna happen.
Mm.
I think it's gonna be a great match. It's gonna be at least entertaining. We
Yeah.
got three of the best wrestlers in the world. But yeah, if I had to pick, gun to my head, I have to pick one. I guess I'm gonna go with Seth Rollins because he doesn't, one of them doesn't make sense to be in the match. So I'm just gonna pick the one that
That doesn't
makes
make right.
the only one that makes sense to be in the match is Seth Rollins. So I'm gonna go with Seth Rollins.
Yeah. And that wraps up, the first night.
Yeah, that does wrap up the first night.
And we're chugging 57 minutes, almost hitting that hour mark.
Yeah, man. So I guess if you'd like, we could cover the second night on Friday.
Yeah, that works perfect because we got Friday will be a big night due to second night of Mania,
Yep.
NHL and NBA playoffs start this weekend. So
Yep.
we got we can pump out a pretty good Friday show.
Yeah. So um check us out. We're gonna our schedule is going to be for the foreseeable future until we get a little bit of rhythm down, maybe see how it goes, a little test trial. Our schedule is going to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, usually around 7:30 to 8:30 in the Eastern time in the morning.
Yeah.
Check us out at New Leaf News. Every day we got new content. We have 4 fabulous writers. We're adding to the team as well here shortly. We've been officially launched for officially a month today. Check me out at 64-bit Legends. I'm a co-host of that great podcast. Our episodes usually drop on Monday. You can also find our newest episodes on New Leaf News under the Pods and More section. Check out Lawson for his betting articles. The dude we established yesterday, he was hitting at like 65% fucking run the last 2 months.
Yesterday was the first down one in a minute, but
I know,
with betting it comes and goes.
And yep, you got to ride that roller coaster. You can find us, on obviously YouTube, at New Leaf News, at Bobby Kaboose, at 64-bit Legends, at Lawson
_1226.
Yeah, that stupid underscore.
Fuck you, buddy.
On Instagram and Twitter. New Leaf News is now on Facebook as well. So like us, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Comment, if you want to hear a topic, a hot topic or not a hot topic.
Or just give us your opinion on whatever we talked about, or
you want our favorite sci-fi shark movie. We can give it to you. It might be Virus Shark. I'm not sure. But it's up there. Santa Jaws. We can talk about that stuff. So if you want, if you want to know our favorite dinosaur, our favorite B-rated shark movie,
B-rated shark movie.
our favorite, horror movie that is about killer donuts.
Whatever.
Whatever you want to hear.
Yeah.
We're open to suggestions.
Mm.
I think that kind of wraps it up.
Yeah.
But other than that, Lawson, I don't know if you want to take us home or.
I'll take us home, baby.
All right, man.
Thank you everyone once again for checking us out here at the Legneds Clubhouse. As always, I'm Lawson Turner and
Bobby Kaboose.
Technology is crazy. That's Bobby Kaboose, and we will speak to you guys Friday morning at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. As always, take it easy, everybody. Peace.
And don't cross the hoss.